Well, that super soaker overnight brought us what we needed, rain, and what we didn't, storm damage. Trees went down, houses got some hits, and for the second time this week, folks in our area had to clean up after big storms. We start there because it's this exact moment in time when roofing scammers start making the rounds around here, but we've been ahead of the game in recent weeks, tracking a scam that has hit homeowners across our metro, costing them thousands of dollars. But now, there have been some arrests, and 2 men are in federal custody on suspicion of posing as local contractors and damaging homes on purpose to get money out of you fast. They'd go to a house and say they were from companies here in the area you know and trust. They were not. And then they would get you to let them on your roof to check things out. And once they were up there, they tore it up and then came to you and said they found some problems and that you needed to pay them in cash. People did it. And no fix actually happened, of course. They were on to their next victims by that point. And now police and the feds are trying to sort through just how big this has gotten. Kent, what's our update tonight?
Well, Jenna, essentially, they picked the wrong woman to mess with. She is the 88-year-old woman in Minnetonka who you are about to hear from, but you won't be hearing her name or seeing her face because she doesn't want all the attention. She just wants her house fixed.
The owner of this Minnetonka home says the story behind her damaged chimney began last week when she was approached by men who said they saw signs of trouble from above.
They had drones going over the houses and they detected that my chimney had cracks in it.
The 88-year-old homeowner says a man who called himself Jonathan then gave her this business card saying he worked for Advantage Construction, a real local company with really good reviews.
It looked legitimate, so I thought, well, okay.
So you trusted the name?
I trusted the name.
But when he and others returned the next day, that trust began to crumble.
They just put a ladder up and went up on my roof. And then he showed me a picture of my chimney that had a big hole in it.
So this is part of your chimney that you're talking about?
Yes, that just, was loose and fell out.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
It's then that she began piecing together holes in their story. She went back to the Advantage website and called their actual number.
This was the second one we had in just a matter of a couple days.
General Manager Don Patnode says they received a similar story from a man given the same fake business card in Minneapolis. Fortunately, he didn't let them get this far.
How much damage did they do?
We're estimating right now around $7,500 on that chimney, but we don't know how far into the house it goes.
The homeowner also contacted Minnetonka police and told them that she had requested a contract from the imposters.
This is the contract that they offered.
Yeah, this looks like not a contract.
Agreed. In our business, we would call that a clue.
So, Captain Andy Gardner says several detectives worked with the homeowner to arrange another meeting yesterday, which led to several arrests.
Is sting the right word to use?
I suppose it would be. We took 2 adults into custody, but there are also 2 juvenile boys with them.
And if you think reading that contract is hard, he says identifying them has been even harder.
They produced a number of fraudulent travel documents, passports. The Department of Homeland Security was critical yesterday in helping us identify who they are. So as of right now, they're in federal custody.
He says it appears they're UK residents originally from Ireland. 2 weeks ago, we reported on a group of men with Irish accents impersonating a different local company, Key Prime Roofing, and doing tens of thousands of dollars in damage to homes in Robbinsdale and Roseville.
Do you believe any of these things might be related?
I think they're directly related, yes. And so I would encourage anybody seeing this that thinks they may have encountered the people that we're talking about today or been scammed by a roofing or chimney contractor to contact their local police department. I do know that the children and at least one of the adults had flags on their names as known fraudsters with the federal government.
And he says at least some of them are now in custody thanks to a single homeowner who's just fine staying out of the spotlight.
It's one thing to call police, it's another to agree to be part of a sting.
It took some fortitude on her part.
She's a hero. Not only did she help our company today, she helped a lot of companies in Minnesota, but more importantly, she's helped a lot of homeowners.
I wanted to do it. I wanted something done. I had a chimney that had a hole in it, so I was ready to do whatever had to be done.
They are going to make that right, by the way. Advantage is taking care of that chimney. Now, though these 2 men are in custody, we are not showing their booking photos yet because they haven't been formally charged. But as you just heard, investigators do believe these arrests could help them untangle a pretty big web of fraud extending to other people perhaps, and maybe even other areas of the country. Jana.
So how do the two teenagers fit into all of this? What's their role? You mentioned them in your story.
Yeah, police said essentially they usually use the teenagers to approach the house. That's what happened in this case. It was like a 14 or 15-year-old. It maybe gets people talking. They don't know really what their status even is. They're trying to figure out if they have parents here, if they were forced into some of this. So there is a lot still to untangle.
Yeah, as you and I have been looking into this for weeks, and I want to give a heads up. A viewer gave us this tip, so thank you to those of you out there letting us in on this. We wouldn't have investigated it without you. Tips about their accents, all of this kind of was leading in the direction of where we get today.
That's absolutely right. And we'll stay on it and find out how far it does go.
All right, thanks so much, Kent. We appreciate it.